Hey guys, Desletter Magic here, and time for part 2 of my conspiracies. Well, it's really just conspiracy number 2 about the whole FNM promo thing. And this one's very interesting. The last one was shaky, just, something to think about. But this one, you're going to find very, very interesting because, like I alluded to in the last video, there's a bit of a pattern in the cards that they've chosen. And keep in mind that they probably have to choose them 4 to 5 months ahead of time. That adds a layer of difficulty. So these perceived purposeful bad cards in some cases were and in some cases weren't, but we'll get into that in the video. So conspiracy theory number 2, and I'm going to rush through this because there's just no need to overanalyze this. I'm not going to show the cards on screen for 1/2 seconds. So you have to pause it and read it. Just hopefully you know what these cards do. I mean, hello, they were the past 3 years worth of promos. So conspiracy theory number 2, the whole time with a couple exceptions, clearly, they were trying to make worthwhile cards be the promos, but they have to guess so far ahead of time, and they're just terrible at guessing what the meta will be, because it's just unpredictable. I mean, even the pros on day one have no idea what the meta will shape up to be. I remember the first week where everybody was like, red, white vehicles, that's it, and then the next tournament it got stomped and we never saw it again. Nobody can predict it, it just will happen. I don't think even like IBM's Watson could predict it. So that said, mixed with, like I said, the fact that they probably have to get these in like 3 months ahead of time to the printers, they have to make the card selections pretty damn early. And then, they announced them pretty early. So obviously it's 4 or 5 months maybe because they announced them a couple months out. So maybe almost every single card that they chose as the promo was a card that they thought would be hyper competitive and sought after and effectively high dollar value, but they were just wrong a whole bunch of times. And that actually sounds reasonable because if anybody, if they could guess what cards would be hyper popular without, all the really gimme cards, because hello, they're not going to print a promo Planeswalker. I mean, that's too easy and it's way too valuable. I mean, they didn't say, oh, the June promo is Dovin Bond, alternate art. Like, actually, honestly, that probably still wouldn't be worth that much, but it's an easy choice. It's a freaking Planeswalker. I mean, they could have made the promo a freaking fetch land, like, duh, but they don't. They go for the second rate cards. It's very obvious that they go for the second rate, but still heavily played, heavily valuable cards, because that keeps the prices from getting just mental, where people would be like killing each other for the damn promos and like robbing each other and cheating and just madness. A $5 entry for a $70 card, my god, I would only bring my highest competitive deck, and if somebody even wants to untap a land after they took their finger off, and I'd tell them where they can shove their finger. I think they want to avoid that, so pretty damn obvious that they do not want even like a fatal push level where that's being estimated at like 30 to 40 bucks, because that's a little too high of a prize. So just think, if it was your job, you had to pick the cards out, but they couldn't be too popular, but they still had to be pretty popular, and you had to dial it in right into the $5 to $10 range. Yeah, good luck. Oh, and P.S., you have to do it all like 5 months ahead of time. Like, that's usually before the damn set came out. That's why the cards are usually back a ways if they just have no freaking clues. So let's examine this. So August, Renegade Rallier, damn good card. It was one of the most expensive uncommons in the set, if I'm remembering correctly. Good guess, honestly. And I think they would have chosen this maybe before it took off, but it might have been after. Fatal Push, September, which we're going backwards here. Gee, you think? Even if they already knew about the price, and then they made the choice after the first week of play, we'll say, because that's when it was high, pretty damn obvious choice. I mean, you can't print that card and design it and be like, no, I'm sure this won't see play in Modern. I mean, they knew what they were printing. Then we got Reverse Engineer, which is the current one. I actually didn't know that because I've missed a lot of FNMs here, but I think one of them had to go home sick, too. Anyway, Reverse Engineer. I put that in the top 3 for the most powerful cards in all of Aether Revolt. I thought this would just dominate. I thought it was so freaking stupid because you got 3 cards for 2 mana. Guaranteed 100% of the time in the deck you put it in, 3 cards for 2 mana. That is just too many cards for too little mana. And people did play this, but energy was better. It was just better than improvise. And now, God help you if you're running servos, because anybody in any color can blow them straight to hell. So that card died, but holy crap, would that have been a damn good guess. Before that, we've got Aether Hub. Gee, you think it spits out one of every color? Yeah, pretty obvious choice. Unlicensed Disintegration. That card's so powerful, certain people wanted it banned. Pretty good choice. It just didn't really hit the high dollar amounts. A lot of people played it, but it still just didn't hit like the top 3 net decks. And a card can be just horribly powerful in multiple decks, multiple strategies. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants to trade for it, and it's still like 50 cents. That can happen. Just keep that in mind. So when you say, quote, valuable promo in standard, really hard to dial in a card at all at a mid-range price. It's either worthless 25-cent bulk or it's, oh, look, not. And not is usually like $3. Well, actually, I mean, that would be mid-range. I mean, if it makes its way into a deck, you're looking at like $10. Like the top couple decks, if it's in there, I mean, Fraying Sanity is like $8 or $9. Solemnity, that's for modern, that's a terrible example. Startled Awake, that's like $6, $7, $8 now. There's just no middle ground. I mean, so what do you choose? Now, before that, Servo Exhibition generates 2 servos for 2 mana. That's insane. That's like raise the alarm good. I absolutely would have expected that to just go through the roof, other than the rarity. I mean, they don't commonly choose rares, at least not all the time. I think that might have something to do with the lack of absolute dollar amount value, but were people playing Servo Exhibition? Oh, hell yes. So people still wanted it despite its dollar amount. Before that, Incendiary Flow, I mean, it was good. It's basically like a Magma Spray 2.0, kind of, just not as good. That one's a little off. Before that, Fortune's Favor. What the hell was that? That was the make 2 piles, your opponent does this, you choose one, or whatever. They've had like 8 different versions of that damn effect. It's never taken off, never been popular. They've been doing it for like 10 years plus. Nobody played Sphinx of Bethune. It doesn't work. That would have been my absolute dead last choice for a promo. And right before that was Noose Constrictor. They themselves used Noose Constrictor basically as the bad low example or the least popular example in their own announcement. They said something like the attendance was the same the month that Aether Hub was out as the month that Noose Constrictor was out. So they were trying to compare and contrast high to low, and that's the one they chose. So even they admit that that was a terrible, worthless garbage card. So 3 in a row. Interesting. Very suspicious. But then before that, Call the Bloodline. Holy crap. Creating lifelink tokens once per turn for 1, and you don't really have to discard the card because madness. And it costs 2. That card's insane. That is one of the most powerful cards in all of Magic Puzzle Quest. It almost caught on to be an exceptional card. I guess people just didn't put it into Madness because giant flying vampires are pretty good too or something. I don't know. A couple people I saw running it. Still, seems like a damn good guess. Fiery Temper, very good guess. That is basically a lightning bolt. It's just a Madness lightning bolt. Rise from the Tides, I don't know about that. That one's kind of weird. I mean, it costs 6, so it's already kind of a crap choice, but it's hyper powerful, so maybe that was like a long shot. Flaying Tendrils was before that. That's the -2 sweeper. That still played. I mean, that thing hit like some money, for real. That was like $3-4, I think. So not anymore, but yeah, token sweeping, very safe, very appropriate choice for a worthwhile card, and it was from OGW at the time, which is very interesting. And then Crumbling Vestige. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty damn popular land for a little bit. They weren't wrong. And then before that, Spatial Contortion. People played the hell out of that card. That was in the top 3 most expensive uncommons. Before that, Sylvan Scrying. I still don't know why to this day that card isn't worth more. I have 5 of them in promos. I traded for them because I'm just convinced it's going to go up at some point. But I guess Tron players rejected it or something, or they just all didn't care about the promo, or I don't know. I have no freaking idea why that one's not high. I guess BFZ was overprinted volume-wise. How about that? That's my explanation. Before that, Goblin War Chief. I still don't understand why that's not more expensive. It is really damn good. I guess they just printed it too many times. Before that was Bladed Fen. I don't really get that one. I mean, I loved it. I put it in almost every black deck just as like a 2-of, just so I could nuke them with a passive kill spell that's also a land. Because a kill spell that's also a land, I mean, just listen to that statement. That might have been a long shot. I don't know. Before that, Smash to Smithereens. I mean, yeah, it's a good card. I mean, you destroy an artifact and then 3 damage to the controller. It's basically unlicensed disintegration, kind of. Before that, Clash of Wills. I mean, I don't like that one. I just like cancel. I would just pay 1 more mana and just whatever. But you can kind of +1 it and there's a card that does it right now that's popular. Okay, but this was just a garbage version of Syncopate, and even that wasn't worth much. But then before that, Nyx's Pilgrimage. Oh my god, Landfall, Nyx's Pilgrimage. Yeah, I don't think that card ever, even the promo, hit a high dollar amount, but holy hell did people play that. So breezing through 2015, Anticipate, fantastic legendary card. Roast, everybody played Roast. Ultimate Price, I mean, it was on par with Go for the Throat and Doomblade. It was definitely an option. And then better stuff came out. Basically, Murderous Cut and Fatal Push, I would say. So that's a shame, but good choice. Orator of Ojutai, I have no freaking idea what they were thinking with that pile of garbage. But before that, in a row, Serum Visions, Path to Exile, and Frostwalker, 3 of the best cards in Standard at the time. Well, okay, Serum Visions and Path to Exile weren't in Standard, they were in Modern. But Frostwalker, I freaking love that card. It's so good. I mean, a 4 damage blue creature that costs 2. Go find another one of those. I'll wait. I'll give you a hint, in Modern, there's like none. And, you know, they had Hordling Outburst and Suspension Field. Disdainful Stroke wasn't bad either, so really good choices even going back to 2015. I mean, even 2014, the last card was Stoke the Flames. I think that that promo one is actually still worth quite a bit. I think that thing hit like $5 plus. So we've got 3 years where I would say 85, maybe 80% of the cards were extremely good guesses that either were just playing good guesses and didn't work out because of random chance and the deck just barely didn't take off, or everybody played the card, but because it was an uncommon or because it wasn't in the top deck, like literally the top deck, it never really hit an insane price level. So everybody says, well, the promo sucked, the promo sucked, the promo sucked, but look at what card it is and look how playable it is. Besides like Fortunes, Noose, maybe Blighted, Fen, and Rise from the Tides, there weren't really anything else absolutely horrific. Maybe Smithereens, that's too basic. So like that's it. All the rest were like really good cards. So the conspiracy theory number 2 is, was Wizards the whole time trying to pick out perfect playable but still second-rate cards? And I think absolutely yes. But how do you explain Orator of Ojutai, Noose Constrictor, and Fortune's Favor? Those 3 stand out like, what did they do? Use a random card generator? What the hell were they thinking? Especially Noose Constrictor. I mean, what the hell is that card? What was it supposed to do? It didn't even use counters. I mean, there were almost no green creatures with reach. I'll give them that. But other than that, my god, was that card terrible. I have a theory about that, though. 100% of the time, they were trying to pick a very good, exceptional, playable second-rate card that would land around $5 for a promo. But they decided some months to purposely just spike it. Just absolutely, let's print garbage and see what happens. And let's look at the attendance numbers to see if it affects attendance. Now, interestingly enough, Noose Constrictor and Fortune's Favor were right in a row. A lot of the bad cards were right in a row, and a lot of the insanely good cards were right in a row. So it's almost like they said, within the same standard cycle, we want to see consistently like 8 weeks straight of garbage and 8 weeks straight of insanely good cards. And we're going to compare the numbers because that'll be, you know, maybe between a set release because they're 3 months apart. And we'll take the good months and the bad months and compare them, because theoretically nothing would have changed other than a slight shift in the meta. So I think that the bad ones were purposeful experiments, but the entire rest of the time going back to 2015, or I should say the end of 2014, they were purposely picking out the best they could possibly predict. So that conspiracy theory, absolutely true in my opinion. I think there's just no way it's not true. I mean, just look at the list. Those cards were amazing. I mean, they were really good choices, with a couple that stood out like just as the polar opposites as choices. So I think I'm 100% spot on with that assessment. So what's the solution? Because, you know, assuming that's true, their solution was, well, screw it then. We'll just make them tokens because, you know, if people want the tokens, they could run a regular token, which is boring. And honestly, nobody seems to have them at any LGS I ever play at. They all use dice. I'm like, how do you not have a token? It's a token. It's like 5 cents. It's like, why don't you own the emblem for your Planeswalker? Even you're going to forget the emblems on the field. It's 50 cents. My God, I do not understand those people. But if you always give out a token, it's like they said, always relevant to the latest set to be released. And, you know, people play with tokens, people generate tokens. I mean, servos, hello, they're everywhere. Thopters, duh. I mean, that's almost universal. You could be playing all different strategies and still generate a servo. So if you had a big sparkly token and you could put a die on top of that to indicate the quantity, would you do it? Probably, yeah. So it's still nice. People still want it, but they're taking price out because it's not people saying, oh, what a good choice. Oh, I love the artwork. Because people do say that. It's the number one thing that people are saying the loudest is, I want money. I want money prizes. Well, I don't know about you, but the promos I get, I keep. I do not trade them. I do not sell them. Well, except Fatal Push. You know damn well I'm trading that crap. Holy crap. If I get one of those, that's going on eBay before I leave the damn store. But just think about it. It's a unique double-sided foil token, which is almost never printed. This is the only place you can get it, and it's only 4 per LGS per week. That is the absolute limit. For token collectors, yes, that is a thing. They're hot as hell. So there's an interest in it. More people can probably put it in their deck than if it was a randomly picked card, except for Aether Hub. And you're basically going to have a static price forever, unless one artwork really stands out, or it's a really unique token, or technically emblems are tokens. They could do a foil emblem. I think that would be more valuable than the rest, but otherwise, steady, consistent $2 card, we'll say. And honestly, that's probably what it will be, because it's just so unique, you're guaranteed a certain price, and the demand is there. More people can play with them in their deck. You don't technically have to add them to your deck. It's got a lot going for it as far as usability and playability. Like, a token is just better than a card. Or I should say more popular, more usable. So I think that was a wise choice because they've taken this, oh, $10, $1, $10, $1, oh, $5, $1. They've taken this freaking roller coaster that's making people dizzy and annoyed. And most of the complaining is, okay, we had a couple that were 10 plus. I want more of that because I'm greedy and I want money. I mean, when it comes down to it, isn't it just selfishness that everybody's whining about? Just, I want money, I want prizes, I deserve it, I'm so entitled. And it's all because they've seen it a couple times, just a handful of times. They picked a card that they, if anything, underestimated. It spiked through the roof, and then everybody's like, I remember that, I want that again, because money. Well, not really the best attitude to have. So they've taken the up, down, up, down, up, down, which I do still think affects attendance heavily, and then they've made it just $2 across the board forever. Is that really so bad? Yes, it is. I think they can do better. I do like the idea. I'm going to want the tokens just as much as I would want the cards, except for Frostwalker because I freaking love that card. But the probability of hitting a card that I love is very low. I mean, it has to be like Mr. Nibbles, Frostwalker, maybe Ice Over. But hey, out of the 24,000 or whatever unique cards they've ever printed, you really think they're going to pick ones that I specifically love? No, and that's true for everybody. Oh my god, if they printed an Aether Spouts promo, oh my god. So tokens are the safe, boring, normal bet, but I think they can improve on it. It would be my plan B. I think it's better than what they're doing now. I know that's just so shocking and contrary to everybody, but whatever. What would I do? Well, instead of guessing about a card that probably will say 5 months ahead of time, because that's realistically probably when they pull it, at least 4 months, you'd probably have to pick one before it even comes out. So you'd have to be guessing about a card and its status in the meta 4 months into the future before the set is even spoiled and before it comes out. And you'd have to predict the price of that card and then choose it as a promo. Also, you can't just do the 1-cost kill spell, the land, the most powerful card, because that's just too easy and it'll be too valuable. Yeah, good luck with that. It's impossible, evidently. So my suggestion would be make 100% of the promos from Modern, because everybody knows once you've been playing Standard forever, you're going to get sucked into Modern. That's like the more competitive, more difficult. You have to have more knowledge of more mechanics and more decks. It's wider open. It's harder to build a deck because you have a bigger pool. It's advanced. It's advanced Magic. It's like level 2 Magic. It's intermediary Magic right before you go to the GP and win it, or the Pro Tour, or whatever. Okay, so we got Billy here. Billy showed up to FNM for an entire year. He's been playing Standard. He loves it. He loves Magic. Cool. He's been showing up 85% of the time to FNM, we'll say. And, you know, he's not a great player because he's still new-ish to the game, but he wins once in a while, and he gets a promo. And every single promo is like a semi-staple in Modern. Do you think maybe now that he has a couple of those in his hand, or maybe 1 month he won an entire playset, that he might consider building a Modern deck? I mean, he's already got 4 Path to Exiles, 4 Serum Visions, you know, 4 promo Splinter Twins. Just kidding. That card will get unbanned when hell freezes over. Infinite combos can go die. Here, let me look into my crystal ball real quick to get the disappointment train rolling already. Bye, Kitchen Finks. We'll miss you. But you could do like a promo lightning bolt. You could do, I mean, there's so many birds of paradise. Technically evolving wilds. I don't know if anybody really plays that in modern. Not really. You could do the second rate fetchable dual lands. That would be kind of cool. Especially if you like gave out 4 different ones, one each week for a month. Or if there was a 5-week month with 5 Fridays. That would make a little bit more sense. There's usually 5 of every land. Maybe do that one red-white charm that everybody plays. That's a pretty hot card. And it's like, you know, $4 or $5. I mean, you look at the prices for certain cards in modern. And they haven't changed more than $1 in like 3 years. I mean, anything from MM2, Gut Shot, Telling Time. I've got a whole binder page full of just cheap 50-cent modern staples. And I guarantee if they're promos, they wouldn't be 50 cents. I mean, there's so many modern players that are willing to spend more money and they have more money that, yeah, they would probably pay like $5 for a promo of any of those. Oh, Dismember? I mean, a foil promo Dismember? Yeah, they dish out some money for that. And I think Dismember is like $1, $1.50 on the open market for the actual card. So they could choose it, and they could choose it 6 months ahead of time, and they know damn well nothing's going to happen to that price in the meantime. So they could nail it on the head every single time. So stop trying to guess cards in Standard and guess them in Modern. It's that simple. That would be my solution. Plus, like I said, you get the 2-for-1 special. Constantly giving people Modern cards makes them feel like maybe they should play Modern. You know, it just is a little bump to maybe elevate them up into Modern and building a potential Modern deck. Even my friend that's been playing for a couple months, he just built a Modern deck, and he actually did really well at the last tournament, which is pretty cool. It's lucky, by the way. He was in a bunch of videos. So that's my conspiracy theory, and I'd give it a 9 out of 10 on the accuracy meter. Hell, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. It's basically a sure thing. Just look at the cards they picked. It's pretty damn obvious and transparent. At least for the last 3 years-ish, they've been trying to pick the best cards, and they've just been failing. So are they going to admit that in an article? Oh, we've been trying, but it's just too hard to predict. No, because it makes them look bad, even though it's perfectly understandable and probably perfectly true. It's just a PR thing. Don't make yourself look incompetent because, well, they've done that enough already. So all this roundabout nonsense that they're putting it as an explanation, nah, it's just part of it. That's not it at all. I think at the end of the day, they're just having way too much trouble picking them out, and they just said, screw it. There's too much lead time. We can't do it. But like I said, a $5 to $10 promo modern staple versus a foil token, obvious which one's better. You're never going to get an insane out of control price, but you're never going to get another dollar card. It's the perfect solution. Well, until they have the masterpiece problem and they run out of cards to choose. But, you know, whatever. So what do you guys think? What do you think about my theory here? If you look at the list on Gamepedia, the wiki for MTG, they have it. I mean, I saw a clear pattern to it. I see some logic there. I see a theme. So yeah, please, Wizards, just consistently pick $3 modern cards for us. It would make everybody's life so much better. Oh, and by the way, if you think they're going to flip back on this, they have already printed the foil tokens. So not for a couple months. They might have already changed their mind on it because every time everybody throws a damn fit, they change their mind immediately. But they're not going to tell us because that really looks flip-floppy and bad. And also, like I said, they've already printed the damn cards. So yeah, I expect this to change drastically within just a couple months. So just, if you don't like it, hang on till then. Also, trade or buy up every single copy of those tokens because if they do change their mind, this will be one of the only foil tokens ever printed in the history of the game still. So yeah, that's about all you need to know about this. Hopefully we can stop talking about it. We won't because it'll never stop being an issue, but whatever. I'll see you guys next video.